It's coats, handbags, shoes, bits of body, bits of flesh. Dealing with dead bodies, dealing with blood, gore, I can cope with.
The mother of one of those missing has appealed to the
We had a television in our little control room watching the news, and there were lots of people who were concerned for their loved ones.
I have no words to say. I just want you to turn home. I'm clean shoes in the Edgware Blanc.
And there was this man who had a picture, and it was a woman.
My sister Laura went, she was missing yesterday. We've checked in all the local hospital, but actually nothing, she hasn't turned up.
And I could see that the picture that he was holding was the woman that was one of the fatalities. Seeing this man, not knowing what had gone on, where she was, and we saw her there, that was really hard. It was all really real then.
Yes, baby. These are the London bombings.
I think all of us there, it was no longer just a job that you're getting on with, it was now personal. I'm a father, it could have been one of my children, it could have been one of my relatives. That, without doubt, was the hardest thing I had to deal with, was witnessing that.
Islam hit quite the whole Europe.
They are very challenging scenes. Our people are working under the most extreme circumstances.
There are 4 separate crime scenes with tiny fragments of explosives and DNA to gather on the streets and deep underground. Forensic science experts are carefully collecting evidence.
We had 7 fatal casualties at Edgware Road, but there was one massively worse than the others.
Let's not forget.
There was a huge hole where the explosion took place, and I remember having a conversation with my colleague and saying, look at this poor son. I mean, he's really caught the brunt of the explosion.
They bombed us.
What remained
bombed
was
Europe.
wrapped around the chassis of the train. So I was
This is
given
England.
a garden hoe that was broken in half, and I had to sort of flick the remains so they come away from the chassis and they fell onto the floor. So I had to scoop that up and put it into a plastic bag.
The American coalition
As it was
went to
removed
Middle
from
East.
the train, we found
Middle
a
East
credit card.
responded.
The credit card had a name on, in the name of Mr. M.S. Khan.
Killing civilians. Well, the country that votes the politicians who take such decisions,
YouTube station was that of
wanted or not, is responsible for the politicians' decisions.
We managed to recover a wallet from the floor of the carriage, very near to where the device was activated. It contained a HSBC card and a Halifax account card in the name of Mr. S. Khan and Mr. Sadiq Khan.
It is horrible to have innocent, unsuspected civilians
had left property
getting
at
cornered
2 scenes of
in
terrorist
such a
attacks.
way.
2 bits of property belonging to one person are found at 2
But
terror attack scenes. Clearly it's significant.
the bomber, who might have been victimized by
We found on the first
United
night also
States
contained
or
snooker club
UK's
membership cards
armies
in the name of Mr.
in the
S.
past, or
Tanweer.
have dead relatives, etc.,
That
etc.
became a priority. We needed to know who these
Sees
people were, how they'd
the
got to their
civilian
locations.
as the
Then
enemy,
challenge was to work out where they come from.
because this civilian voted for the politician who
Dealt
took
with
the
terrorists
decision
for a number of
to
years,
send
and
their
what
armies.
I came to learn is that when
Yeah.
terrorists are in suicide bombs, they need to be identified as the martyr. So
Yeah.
very often what they would do is have identification on them, which they would just throw on the floor at the point of detonating a bomb to ensure that people know it's them.
It's
For us
heroic.
that were there, we were considering, could this have been a suicide bomb?
And you have 27 virgins
In my own mind,
waiting for you.
that was not a suicide attack. The very phenomena of a suicide bomber, that was something that we probably never expected to happen in the United Kingdom.
Why? You should expect it to happen.
Even though in
You
the
were
job
part
I
of the
am,
coalition.
I certainly wouldn't have imagined a suicide bomber, that's for sure.
Well, you should imagine suicide
People might
bombers
say, well,
because
why
that's
not?
all they
Because
have.
we had them in 9/11. Yeah, but we're in the UK, in London, and
Yes.
I still felt it was a safe place and that wouldn't happen. That might be naive, but that's how I saw it.
Violence begets violence. Nowhere is safe. Russell Miller.
As we got the bodies out, we also cleared the property on the train, like bags, backpacks, stuff like that. All that had to be bagged, photographed. It's then taken upstairs. And that's when the phone started to go. When they picked up the signal, all the text messages started coming through, and actually phones ringing.
I was leaving messages constantly for Jenny on her phone and texting, even though deep down I knew I might not get a response. But the human spirit needs to hope.
Civilians.
It's family members ringing, isn't it? Husbands, wives, mothers. It shocked me because I'd never even give that a thought.
Civilians. People who never chose to go to war.
No.
But they
We just left them in the
voted.
bags
They
and
did their
they were
democratic
taken away
right.
and then dealt with. What could I have said if I'd have answered it?
Be careful what you are voting for.